Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Isha Kulkarni, and I'm a social media manager and event planner at VR Pistachio. Welcome, everyone, to today's event on how to proactively land a job using LinkedIn, organized and presented by VR Pistachio. We are very excited to have you all here and grateful to have our charming, energetic, wonderful speaker, Ms. Lizzie Mintus. Let me start today's conversation by telling you about VR Pistachio. Then I'll introduce you to our speaker and we'll get started to the event that you all are very much looking forward to. So VR Pistachio is a global community of, for, and by relocating spouses. This community is built by relocating spouses Aditi Patil and Dipali Paul. VR Pistachio focuses on empowering relocating spouses to navigate this adventure. We support relocating spouses by helping them to learn, upskill, network, and build their local presence. So what is the Pistachio mission? Vision? No relocating spouse is ever alone. And our mission is unlock the personal, professional, and economic potential of every relocating spouse. VR Pistachio offers many upskilling webinars, networking events like this, mentoring programs where we organize broader programs for relocating spouses because we understand how important it is once you relocate to a new country to build your pod and your own network. So far, we have arranged more than 35 upskilling events, more than 12 networking events, and more than 2 membership pods. So meet our members, Pistachio founders, Ms. Aditi Patil and Dipali Paul. Aditi is attending this event today. So we often get asked that why Pistachio, what's in the name, why you have chosen this name. So like a pistachio nut, we are open and we're happy. We are global, we are tough, and you gotta have some nutty side to you because you've been relocating several countries and still finding your own presence. So without any further delay, let me introduce you to our delightful speaker, Lizzie Mintus. Lizzie is the founder of Here's Waldo. She was a principal recruiter at a technical recruitment agency for 4 years and built out the gaming division. In July 2020, she founded Here's Waldo Recruiting, which is a boutique technical recruitment firm that focuses primarily on video game industry. They hire 10-person startups through some of the largest franchises in the world. Their mission is to make clients and candidates feel cared about and understood in the process of finding each other. They go out of their way to provide the best possible candidate experience. So here's to you, Lizzie.
Hi, thank you. Great to meet you guys. Thank you for having me. Do you want me to share?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So today we're going to learn how to proactively land a job using LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the #1 tool for all job seekers. So even if you are applying on something like Monster, Indeed, Glassdoor, many people will still go back and verify you from your LinkedIn profile. This presentation will have 2 parts. The first, we're going to learn how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So it shows up in more results and it's completely done and you're presentable. And then the second topic will be learning how to proactively reach out to people within the company that you are hoping to work at. Let's get started. So, okay. The average recruiter spends just 7 seconds on your LinkedIn profile. So it's very important that you have everything ready to go and you're all there. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to want to figure out what your ideal job is. So there are many different ways to search for jobs. You can look on Google, LinkedIn, Indeed, ZipRecruiter. and find kind of the ideal job. I think people, especially women, feel that maybe you're not qualified for the job. Maybe the job says you need to have 5 years of experience and you only have 4. So the second bullet point is really important. If you're 80% qualified, you're pretty close. It could be a great match. Don't doubt yourself. It doesn't have to be 100%. And you're going to pretty much, let's say you want to be an accountant at Zillow. So the best thing to do would be, you have the job description open and you're going to look at the different keywords in which the company is seeking. What kind of things do they want people to have experience in? And then you will go and you will find somebody on LinkedIn who has the job that you want. And maybe there's a few different people. So this is your example profile. Maybe they got that job from LinkedIn, and you can look and see what commonalities do all of the accountants at Zillow have? What words do they have in their skills? What kind of picture do they have? What kind of bio do they have? LinkedIn recommendations, kind of find the different commonalities between. And then I think the next thing is going to be writing down the action items that they say. For example, they use words like developing, implementing, improving. Let's go to the next. So this is an example of a job description. So I think find the ideal job description for you that you are most interested in. If you have a printer, you could print it out. If you don't, that's okay. But note the words that they use in the job description. So this is a accounting job description, and you'll notice the highlighted words: partnering, performing, supporting. These are all action items, which are things that you do. So if you're using a synonym, the most important thing to do would be to use words like this for what you have done. So you don't want to like take the whole job description and copy it and put it exactly in your profile, but you want to weave in the ways which you have done the things that the job description asks. And if you have, like at the end, and it says familiarity with GAAP research tools, you would want to put that keyword in your or in your LinkedIn profile in your About Me section. So take note of all the words that they use and the things that you have done that align with a job description. And we're going to put that in the job responsibilities section. So under your experience, make sure that you have the company on there and you have the logo. You've tied yourself to the company which you work currently or used to work for. I think this is a great profile because you can see they just have really clear bullet points with long paragraphs. Often people don't read it all, but this is very easy to digest. And they use words like proficiently, performed, prepared, analyzed. So instead of just saying did financial reports, they say proficiently developed detailed bi-monthly financial reports, because probably in the job description, it says they are looking for somebody that is detailed. So you want to tie the words from the job description into your About Me or your experience in LinkedIn and use just very easy to read bullet points that are clear and concise, and make sure you have the right title. Another thing, this person progressed. You can see they were promoted in just 5 months. So instead of having many different, or just having the whole time saying that you're a financial and operations officer, it's nice to note the progression because it shows your career path. This is very important. So make sure that you have a picture. Sometimes if you don't have a picture on LinkedIn, that might disqualify you from, people might consider you less because it doesn't really show that you're a real person in this day and age in the internet, it's important that you have a presentable picture, not a picture with an animal, not a picture with a spouse, just a picture of you. You can find one. It doesn't have to be super dated, or you could have somebody in your life take one for you. And then there's two different things. So this finance operations officer is the title in your experience section. The title on your headline is different. So if you update this, it does not update this. But the most important thing to do here and how you search as a recruiter for a profile is from the title. And so you want to make your header this, you want it to be the job that you're seeking, because that's another way to search. I have a friend who wanted to become a recruiting coordinator at Amazon. So I had her change her title to recruiting coordinator. And within, I think, 48 hours, she had maybe 4 messages, because the way that you search is by the header, by the heading title. So you could put seeking accounting and bookkeeping jobs or something like that. So if the job which you're seeking has multiple titles, you can put both of the titles right there. So you have your info in your job description, you have your picture, you have your headline. And next, this is really important, especially for a relocating spouse. So this is a great bio because she talks about her career path, and your bio is a way where you can explain your history. Why did you switch careers? Why did you have this break? There are all these assumptions people will make potentially, but your bio is a chance to explain. I really like Katrina explains how she was a proofreader for an indie publishing company, and then she decided to become an engineer. And it's just a way to show your personality, some pizzazz about yourself. Every recruiter reads so many LinkedIn profiles all of the time. So talk about your cat Fluffy, talk about that you like to rock climb, talk about something that's relatable, because we're all just people looking to relate to other people. She loves, responsive design principles, her web pages. You can tell that she's passionate, and it's just a nice bio. She also has her specialties. So in recruiting, in searching, you're going to search using keywords. So the more keywords you have on your profile, the more likely it is that you will show up. So you want to use keywords of things but if there are software systems or programs, or you want to say you were responsible for this or utilized this, you could have a little blurb about your specialties in your bio. And it kind of just gives a good first impression. They can see you have a picture, they can see what you're seeking from your header, and then they can see a little bit more about your history and read about you as a person, and kind of just makes you a little bit more special. This is a bonus point. It's not necessary, but at the very bottom of your LinkedIn profile, you can have recommendations, and you can request a recommendation from somebody that you have worked with professionally in the past at any time. Sorry, it keeps going. And this is just kind of like an employment reference. It's somebody saying, I worked with Lizzie, I had a great time, here's why. And then if somebody is on another person who wrote me a recommendation, their profile, it links our profiles together. So you have a lot more of a chance of coming up in a search because somebody is browsing someone's profile and they wrote me a recommendation, and it will take you to my page. So you can ask people if they might be willing to. People are so willing to help you. Just say, I'm hoping to land a new job. I know we worked together in the past. Would you be open to writing me a LinkedIn recommendation? And see what they say. Sometimes they want you to draft the recommendation for them. So you could just Google and find some templates. Sometimes, they're okay writing it on their own. So not necessary, but that would be a bonus point. Okay. This is all part of step 1. So you've completed your LinkedIn profile, you have keywords, everything is ready to go. Now you can update yourself as open to work. So this is a newer feature, and there's 2 parts to being open to work. The first part, if you have a job, is you can let recruiters know that you're open to opportunities. So you can go into your settings and turn on, you click yes, you let recruiters know. And in my search, if I'm searching through LinkedIn to find the right person, I can do a general search of all people. They have an algorithm of more likely to respond. And then they have a section of open to work. So open to work is the easiest thing, that I know this person is looking for a job. So that will really increase your reach. The amount of people that reach out to you will increase. If you are currently employed, let's say you currently work at Microsoft. If you turn this on, nobody at Microsoft is able to see that you're open to new opportunities. So if you have a job, don't be concerned about privacy. It blocks your current company from seeing that you're open to work. So this is more of a secretive way of alerting recruiters, hey, I am looking for a job, or I want to talk about it. You can say location, job title, which you're seeking, if you're actively applying. So this is a great resource once you have your profile all ready to go. You've also probably seen this open to work banner you can add to your picture. That's separate. And that would be, I would recommend adding the banner to your picture if you don't have a job. If you do have a job, it might be a bit weird to do. So that is really helpful. Okay. So if you're open to work, your title is correct, you're pretty much ready to start reaching out to people. I think a lot of people get disappointed in their job search because they apply to jobs online and they don't get any response. So in order to stay on unemployment, you have to apply for a certain amount of jobs per week. So a lot of applicants are just people who have no relevant background that are looking to stay on unemployment. Some companies get thousands and thousands and thousands per day. So if you apply online, a recruiter, a real person, might never look at your profile. AI might comb your keywords. So if you get rejected after applying, it's not you, it's just a broken system. So the best thing to do to really get noticed is to reach out to people at the company. And I'll help you. We have some templates in the end of the presentation to see, here's some ideas of how you can word your reach outs. But the best thing to do is think about what kind of company you might like to work for. There's never been a better time to find a job. The job market is wild. Everybody is hiring, and so many companies are interested in hiring women or people of color and are really pushing diversity and having just a diverse workforce. So people are very interested in talking to you, even if you think, oh, I might not have all the skills, oh, I might have a different background. That's an advantage. You have a different perspective. So here are a few different ways to think of what company you might be interested in. If you are in Seattle, there's a list of the top non-public, so startup or late stage startup companies called the GeekWire 200. And it's always updated of the top companies. So that is a great resource. You can see who they are, how many people, what they're about. TechCrunch will always post articles about an up and coming company that announced a product or, received a lot of funding, so they're going to hire. Forbes has a company or a list of the top companies to work for. So that could be a great one to check out. You could go through LinkedIn or Facebook and see who you know that just got a different job, or maybe that has had a job at a company you're interested in. And just make a list of companies that you think that you might be interested in working at based on all of this. And then the next step is to locate a decision maker within the company. So what is a decision maker? It really depends on the company. If you want to work at VR Pistachio, you might find Aditi, who's the CEO, or Deepali, and you might reach out to them, and that would be appropriate because it's a smaller company and everybody is connected. But if you want to work at Amazon, you're not going to reach out to Jeff Bezos. So at a small company, you could reach out to the CEO, a C-suite, it's okay, a director. If you're at a larger company like Amazon, you might want to reach out to a manager who's a manager of the position that you want, or a recruiter. So if you're looking to work at a startup, they might have one recruiter who recruits for everything. Amazon has 2,000 or maybe more recruiters. So these recruiters are very specialized. So for example, if you wanted to work at Zillow, you could type into LinkedIn, Zillow and recruiter, and then you will see all of the recruiters who work at Zillow. It might be 30 recruiters that work at Zillow. So you could type in Zillow and recruiter and accountant if you wanted to be an accountant, and you could find the recruiter that focuses on accounting specifically, or manager and accounting or something like that to find the right person. And then you want to draft a message to reach out to these people. People are so nice and so willing to help. And so you want to send them a connection request on LinkedIn, add them. And when you do, you want to personalize the request. People get so many per day. So the most important thing to do in your job search is just make sure you stand out, have a nice message, have your bio complete, have a nice picture so it's obvious who you are and why you are reaching out. And then when you are searching, just like you can have the open to work banner on your profile, if you're a hiring manager, a new thing on LinkedIn is to have a hiring banner. So if you see somebody with a hiring banner, that means that they're hiring, and the chances of them getting back to you are more. They don't have to have the hiring banner, but if they do, it might be a bonus points. Here are some nice messages to reach out. So when you're reaching out, a good analogy is always recruiting is like dating. So you don't just walk up to someone and say, hey, would you like to go on a date? You kind of have to start first, hey, how's it going? Do you come here often or whatever? You kind of have to have some introductory lines before you start asking. So recruiting is just like this. So here are some examples which you can use word for word, but obviously select, their name and the specifics. So this one is a bit more direct. It says, I came across your LinkedIn profile while researching job openings. Does the position report to you? I've spent the past, whatever years in whatever role. And so this is kind of a bit more assertive, but they still don't ask for a job directly. So if you're the person in charge of hiring for this role, I would love to share more with you and learn a bit more about what you're looking for. So it's just an opening for a conversation. The second one would be if you're reaching out to, let's say, the director of finance and you're hoping for a financial role. You could say that you're impressed by their career path. If you truly are, the most important thing is just to be genuine and just mention something about their profile that you noticed and you took the time to read it. And the second one is almost asking for a mentor, which is just a very approachable message. Are there one or two things you did that you feel contributed the most to your success? I'm hoping to follow this type of career path myself, so anything you can share would be a big help. So people love to help. You flatter them. You said you're impressed by their career path. If you really are, if it is impressive. If it's not, you don't want to say that. And then the third one is just, I loved your article on LinkedIn last week about AI and which industries you expect to be impacted the most. This shows that you took the time to research them and research what they're about, and you read their article. It's never creepy. It's always good. It's just you standing out and showing that you took the time to research who they are, what they do, their company, the things they like, which just kind of opens up the conversation opposed to, asking for things immediately. So, this person says they just completed their degree and they want to follow a similar career path. What would you recommend doing? So that's a pretty approachable message. And then here are some other ones. And so you'll note you never just send the resume. You just, start a conversation, ask some questions that they can get back to you and answer, and kind of try and have an action item. What would you recommend? Or would you be willing to talk? Or, something to take them into having a conversation with you. So this is to message an employee. So let's say you want to work at Apple. It says, I saw you joined Apple 2 years ago. How have you enjoyed the work environment in the engineering department since moving over? I'm beginning a job search myself. Apple is one of the top companies on my list, but I always like to ask firsthand about the work environment of a company. I might respond to that, but maybe you'll just say, it's good. The person might send you something kind of short back. So if they do, then you can kind of segue. Do you know if the senior data position that's posted is within your group, or do you know who might hire for it? And the last line is a great one to use. It says, I was thinking of applying for the position, but I didn't want my application to get lost in the shuffle online, which is so true. So please use that line. It's good. And maybe they'll just say, okay, as kind of prepare for the worst. So if they just say, okay, or yes, or something like that, then you want to be a bit more direct. And you could say, would you be willing to float my resume over? I'm interested in learning more. So just a nice ask. And then if they opt in, you could send your resume. So these are just some good examples of templates, and they're all nice and inquiring. And then the last step. So you just have to see what works in finding a job and in life in general. So you just want to test and fine tune. And I would recommend you could use Excel or, some program which you like to track your outreach approaches and what works and what doesn't work. People are busy. They might not check LinkedIn. You might have to send out, 10 messages. You might have to send out 50 messages. But if you keep going at it, people will get to know you, they will keep in touch with you, and you'll just build your network. And networking is ultimately the most important thing to landing a job. And then if you do talk to anybody, if you get anywhere in any interview process, ask for feedback. How am I doing? It's okay to be vulnerable. I haven't interviewed for a while. Did I do okay? Did I answer your question okay? And then I just read the other day some advice that I thought was great. People always send a thank you letter when they're trying to get the job, right? After your interview, you might send a thank you note. But if you're rejected, nobody sends a thank you note. But maybe you're rejected because somebody got promoted, the role closed. There's so many reasons. It might very well have nothing to do with you. So I think some good advice is send a thank you note to whoever you talk to, especially if you're rejected, and just say that you would love to keep in touch. Thank you for this opportunity. It's been great getting to know them. We're in the middle of September, so we're getting closer to the holidays, but maybe they'll open up a job in January. They'll get some more headcount and they liked you, but it wasn't right, or they have a new role that's a little bit better. So if you get rejected from a role, keep in touch with them, say thank you, and ask if it would be okay if you could follow up, wish them a happy holidays, ask about something, you learned about them, and just be memorable, and they'll help you and you can keep in touch with them. And then the most important thing is just to keep at it, keep reaching out to people, keep sending messages. And, it takes a lot of no's to get a yes, but you got this. That's all I have. You can add me on LinkedIn if you have any specific questions now. I'm very happy to answer. Or if you have a follow-up question later or would like some advice, feel free to add me. I'll put my LinkedIn in the chat and I'm happy to help.
Thank you, Lizzie, for such an informative session. And the
You're welcome.
Yeah, the tips and tactics you have shared with us today will certainly going to help us to improve our professional presence on LinkedIn.
Hopefully, it's so important.
Yeah.
I see there's some questions.
Yeah, so let's address them one by one.
Perfect.
So Remy is asking, with the open to work button, what if we are open to work but need H-1B work visa, company sponsorship? Should we say that in our profile section as well?
Yes, you should definitely put that in I think you can add it in the open to work. You should specify any specifications that you have: visa, salary requirements, if you just need to work remote, if you just have a certain location preference, anything, you should just get it out of the way at the beginning so you don't waste time. And you don't want to talk to a company that at the end of the day can't sponsor your visa. So just be direct.
Yeah. She also has another questions that if we have just been volunteering during this time till we can get a sponsored work visa or like a green card, should we add volunteering as their experience or?
Yeah, you could put it either in volunteering or work experience. In your bio, when you do eventually get your EAD or green card, you can put, took a break due to visa reasons, did some volunteering. I think volunteering is a great thing to put, and people like to see that. Maybe they volunteer. So it's just another way that you can connect. I would say you can put it in work or in volunteer.
So Lizzie, I have a question just additional to that. So people might not volunteer to the same profile that they are looking job for. So they might volunteer for some other organizations that, they don't the same. So
yeah, then I would put it in the volunteering section so it's not confusing. So just remember, recruiters are blasting through profiles. So you want to have the title in your header. You want to have your relevant job experience lately. And if you have a gap, it's totally fine. Just put a little explanation in your bio. Took time to spend with my family, took time to travel. There's nothing wrong with that. And they might ask you where you traveled or something.
Perfect. Thank you. So the Raji has another question. Thank you for taking the time, Lizzie, and the presentation. She's just thanking us for this. Okay, yeah. Perfect. So let me just scroll through the questions.
How can you add career progression?
Yeah.
For Heather? Yeah, so I can show you. So pretty much you will want to, okay, here we are. So you can go to your, here's the company that you work at, and you can just put the different roles that you've had. So instead of saying just director of strategic accounts, I think it's really important to see that progression if you have gotten promotions. And, I had a lot on here personally. I'm not looking for a job. So I kind of took off some information, but I used to have just detailed bullet points under each of them to show my different responsibilities and how the different responsibilities progressed. So I think if you go to your edit profile section, it enables you to edit different roles within the same company.
Okay, I think William has a question, so I'm just going to unmute him. William, you can ask your question, please.
Thank you for the very informative session, especially the section about how to reach out to people that you might not be familiar with. I always hear that advice, but it helps that you broke down exactly how to do that. I wanted to ask, first of all, if you would be willing to share the recording of the video, because I was only able to get in halfway through. And I wanted to ask, since my last role, I've mostly been working on a lot of small projects, freelancing on different websites. How do you think the best way is to showcase that in my LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, and this kind of ties into Heather's question too. So a lot of times people will make assumptions if you've had a lot of different jobs within a short amount of time. So if you've been freelancing, I would put, like, if you worked at, an established company, put that, and then just put freelancing as your job for however long you have been freelancing. And in the description, say freelanced on projects such as blank, blank, blank. And if you have any links to anything you can show about what specifically you're doing or keywords, I would add that into the specific section.
Okay. Most of my work has been maybe like 20 hours or less on just tons and tons of different websites.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I guess I could just highlight a few of those that look more interesting.
Yeah, highlight your best few and then just say happy to answer any more questions or provide more details. And then in your headline, just put the job title that you're hoping for and put freelancing in your about section.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so Prajakta she missed her first session due to some technical reasons. So she wants you to tell more on the bio section.
Yeah, on the bio section on the about me, you can just explain the elephant in the room. If you had a 3-year career gap, just talk about it. Talk about who you are. Maybe you had a career change. I worked in this field and then I relocated, and recently I started taking computer science courses, something like this. Here's what I'm passionate about. And it's just a chance to show your personality. So you could talk about, in my free time, I like to do yoga. I like to travel, or something that people can connect to. So just humanize yourself in your bio, talk about what you like, and add, you could at the end, you could say skills, something like this, skills, ... And then you can just list all of the keywords that are going to be applicable for the job which you're seeking. And because of the keywords, your profile will show up a lot more in searches.
Perfect. I hope that helps, Prajakta. So I have one question for myself. Prajakta has a question. Sorry. Yeah, yes, Prajakta. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for that information, but I think I missed where exactly on LinkedIn is that bio section. I was trying to find that place and couldn't locate it.
Yeah, let me show you. The bio is going to be in the about, I guess it's called about. So right here, you could hit edit and then you can just edit the about section.
Is there any word limit or something? Does that?
As long as you want, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go to find somebody that has the job that you want, or many people, and just compare, see what they have in their about section and kind of the phrasing, and take note of what they do, and don't copy it, but do something similar.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes.
Heather,
have any question?
Oh, Heather has one in the chat. Yeah, I think if you have jumped around a lot, it's good to state the reason if you can, if it's a layoff, if you had to relocate for X reason, you could do that. If you have many different, like every couple months, you could just put like multiple positions and then list them all under like freelance or contract or something like that. But people are always going to ask, why is the reason you left your job? So you want to have something prepared. And you want to, even if you had the worst boss in the world, it was a horrible experience and traumatized you, you still want to have something relatively positive to say. I learned a lot during my time at this company. I'm thankful for being there. Unfortunately, I didn't feel it's the right culture fit for me. And here's what I'm looking for, or something positive, but you just want to avoid getting negative about the place that you worked. So have a positive spin.
Hi, Lizzie. Thank you so much for great information. So I would like to explain the question more. So I was able to work like a 1 year or more so per most contract position. But like when I communicate with recruiters, then most of the time they mention about, oh, this is a long-term, like a growth opportunity. There is high possibility of conversion. So I'm always aiming for getting the direct hire, full-time position. But I think at the end, it depends on the budget issue. But I noticed that there is like some companies, it depends on like hiring manager, their team structure, economical situation, a lot of things that we cannot control. But still, I would like to find out, like, because some companies are more open to, hire from within, and some others just use like a short term and then kind of change. So I wonder, do you have any insight on like how to find out what company or organization or opportunity will give you that long-term, growth opportunity?
I would put that in your about section. Seeking long-term growth opportunity. Have done, contract to hire positions or contract positions in my background, interested in finding a place where I could be for the next foreseeable future or something. I mean, you don't want to say a year, you probably want to make it longer. Every company ideally wants to find somebody, if it's a full-time role, that wants to stay there and grow. So I think if you can just communicate that and just ask questions for the recruiter, like they're interviewing you, but you're interviewing them too. So just ask them, is this a full-time role or a contract role? If it's a contract role, what's the duration? What's the possibility for conversion? But I think the world is your oyster right now. There's so many jobs. And so if you just specify in your profile that that's what you're looking for, and specify and you're open to new opportunities, then hopefully you can be a bit selective if that's your goal.
Yeah, so Lizzie, Prajakta has another question. So she's asking, do you have any tips on how to avoid scam recruiters now that my LinkedIn profile says open to work?
What do you mean by scam recruiters? Like bad recruiters or fake recruiters?
I have heard stories, never been in that situation myself, but so people who are trying to pull your information out through this process. I don't have a specific question, but I have heard many things and therefore wanted to know if that's for true. Is LinkedIn doing anything? Is there a way to differentiate, or how do you approach candidates through LinkedIn? Is there any do you approach through emails? Do you give your information through email and not through phone number? How much information do you share as a candidate who is interested, and things like that?
I think the only thing you can well, first click on their profile and see if they have a picture, see if they've been at their company for a little bit, see if the company is a legitimate company. And maybe it's fake, but I don't think you have to worry too much about that. If somebody does respond to you and they want to talk, I think you should send them your resume. You don't have to have your address on your resume. You could have your resume, you could have your phone number and your email address in there. And then you could have a conversation with them and just ask them details about their role. What is this role? Tell me about the team, tell me about the company, tell me how much it pays, tell me all the things. And then just ask them, what will the next step in the interview process be? Is there anything you need from me? But I wouldn't worry too much about, there might be bad recruiters out there. And if, there's good recruiters and bad recruiters, but I think you just have to talk to people and hope for the best.
We have a question from the live stream on FB. So there are two questions. One is about, is the example bio okay to be informal and be written in first person, like you would write in a cover letter? And the other question is, how important is it to add pronouns to your LinkedIn profile? Does it affect your hiring?
Okay, I'll start with the pronouns. So there are some new diversity features that recruiters can use. LinkedIn now asks if you want to self-identify for gender or pronouns, so you can choose to if you want. I don't think it hurts. So feel free to if you'd like. You also don't have to, just totally up to you. But it could make you come up in a diversity search, so it might be beneficial to do it. And then it could be informal. You can just talk about, for your about section, who you are and your background. And I think you could say, I did this. I don't think you need to say, Lizzie has been working as a recruiter for the past 5 years. You could just say, yeah, just like you're talking about yourself. And the world is casual, everybody is on Zoom and their dogs are home and their family is home. So I think things are a bit more relaxed.
So Heather has another question. What kind of position do you usually recruit for?
I recruit for people that work in the video game industry. I recruit for a lot of software engineering. There are people on my team that might recruit for artists. I recruit for some software engineering roles, mostly pretty senior. I'm focused on games, so I never have entry-level roles, but I'm happy always, if you want to reach out, I can point you in the right direction or help show you how to find the right person to reach out to.
Okay, perfect. So does anyone have any more questions? We can take 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah, and we'd love to give a chance to someone who hasn't had a chance to ask a question. So
Yeah, of course.
I added my LinkedIn in the bio,
Yeah,
or the chat rather, if you want to add me, feel free.
That's awesome. Really.
That's great.
So thank you so much, everyone, for attending this. Thank you, Lizzie, for such an informative session. I would like to hand over to Aditi now for to just talk about our upcoming event, which is speed mentoring, and you can how you can improve on your resume writing and lots of things. So here's to you, Aditi.
Yeah, thanks, Isha. If you want to start sharing your screen. So thank you again, Lizzie, for sharing these helpful tips. Very, very less of the time do we get to hear the other side from recruiters. And that is really incredible for us to hear from you and all the tips that you have had. So at VR Pistachio, we are really passionate about bringing a multitude of experts to give you real actionable advice that you can use and implement. So we bring you recruiters, we bring you resume writers, we bring you industry leaders, women who are actually working in the roles that you aspire to be, who walked your path, who relocated. So this event coming up next week is one of our flagship events. It usually gets sold out pretty quick. We call it speed mentoring. Lizzie mentioned like dating. It's not speed dating, but it's speed mentoring, where you will get 2 15-minute sessions with our Pistachio mentors, and you can ask them questions related to resume, related to how they landed their job. And believe me, 15 minutes is a long time. So you will see on the right, we have a wide variety of mentors from Redfin, from SAP, from Amazon. We have a career coach. We have people from learning and development, from the nonprofit world. So this is happening next Thursday, September 23rd. It is a paid event. And just for all of you who have come to today's event, we are offering a special $5 off with using code Waldo. So I'll type the code. So if you go on Eventbrite, and we'll be sending the Eventbrite link also very shortly to you, so you can register for that event. And then at that event, we'll also be launching our mentoring program, which is a longer mentoring program where you will get mentoring from relocating spouses. So I encourage you to check this out. And we also offer scholarships. So we believe that all events should be accessible to everyone. So if you feel that you can write to us at connect at vrpistachio.com, and we are happy to uh, give give away scholarships or reduced a reduced price as well. So again, we'll hang out afterwards if you have questions. I've put the event as well as the code in the chat. We also have an e-learning. Lizzie mentioned the importance of bio. How do you talk about your bio in person? How do you share your story? Now, very often we see that relocating spouses struggle sharing their stories. Like somebody said, I've switched so many roles and I'm on a visa, but I can't work yet. I'm waiting for my visa. So how do you share your story? So we have an e-learning called Own Your Story, which tells you how to craft your story, and it takes you through a small exercises where you can really put your story together and use it in LinkedIn, use it in your interviews. You can use it anywhere as well. It's priced for as much as, I think, less than a price of a coffee. So at $4.99 you can do the self-paced course, and we've put that in the chat as well. We also offer resume writing services. So again, if you would like to partake of those, connect with us. And then we have lots of free events like this. We maintain the quality of events. Just because they are free, you can see that there's a lot of actionable advice. So right from mental well-being to career, to creating wealth, to project management, to data analytics, name the event and we have it. All right. Okay, we can move on to the next slide, Isha. So once again, thank you, Lizzie. Thank you, Isha, for organizing this event. And thank you to all of you for investing your time in your development. And at VR Pistachio, our mission remains that no relocating spouse is ever alone. And we are here to really uplift and elevate your career to where you want to take it to be, because we believe you can and you must. And like Lizzie said, you've got this. So thank you again. And we'll hang around. I and Isha will hang around for questions. Otherwise, thank you again.
Thank you, everyone. I will stop the recording, and we will share the YouTube link with you about if you want to rewatch the things that you have missed, if you have a technical problem at the beginning or something.